welcome back to Swinger University. This is Ed.
And this is Phoebe.
Bringing you more naked facts about swinging. Today we are talking about one of the unique and sensual lifestyle events that Allures produces 4 times a year. It is a sexy, sultry, upscale, and ultra-lounge experience at one of our local hotels with on-premise play.
These parties typically draw 300 to 800 people or more, with Halloween and New Year's being the largest events with 2 nights of fun. Prizes are typically given out at a value from $200 up to $900.
If you want to check them out, go to allureslifestyle.com, ALLURES lifestyle.com. This event was the ABC party, anything but clothing, where you come dressed, but not in clothes. Get out your duct tape, your mini blinds, your sequins, and cornucopia. All right, let's lay the groundwork for this sexy fun.
The first part about getting ready for any event, whether a drink date or party, is to primp, prune, and pluck. So, as a woman, I get ready a week in advance. Tanning, nails, haircut, eyelashes, mani-pedi, all of it. Maybe a facial.
I like to shower and shave before an event. It takes me approximately 30 minutes to get ready.
I know. It takes me a whole week. A whole week. But it's fun. And you look fabulous, and you get dressed up for your partner. You get dressed up for your other potential play partners, and it adds to the whole experience.
Not to diminish the amount of work that you put in, because you absolutely look fabulous. So I appreciate all of the effort. I just don't have that much to do.
I know. Like, I started working on my costume a whole month in advance. Ed, that day.
Yeah, I kind of pulled it out at the last minute.
Yeah. Men, so lucky. So easy.
Yes, I am. Some of the other stuff we like to kind of throw into a party bag, if you will. We bring food, drinks, cups, and basically we have everything for any kind of pre-party or during party or post-party.
Post-party.
You never know when you're going to run into somebody and want to take them back to your room and entertain them a little bit.
Absolutely.
And it's nice to have a little snack, little beverage, something ready to hand out and be host-like.
Exactly. We also bring lots of supplies. If you're a squirter, we bring squirt pads. A lot of people call them puppy pads. I like to call them piddle pads or squirt pads. And I got some pink ones, so they're super cute. This saves your bed. Even if you may have 2 queen beds in the room, it's nice. It's just nice to have a squirt pad.
We call it a safety net, if you will. Kind of protects things.
Yeah.
And it allows you to play a little bit longer, too, because if you've hosed the bed down, then you've got wet spots, and then you can't really play in that spot.
Right, because people don't typically want to play on the bed they're going to sleep in if it's super wet. So
yeah, and it's cold.
Yeah.
It gets cold.
And the hotel staff gets a little
break.
Well, yeah. And you call them up in the middle of the night. You're like, yeah, could you bring an extra set of sheets up to our room? And you get this strange look.
What you're up to.
Yeah, when you open the door. So.
And some of the important stuff.
Yes. Oh, right.
Extra condoms.
Oh, yes.
Lube.
Yes.
Anything that you need for your own personal satisfaction or potentially the satisfaction of others. So,
oh, yeah.
Toys.
Double-headed dildo.
Oh, yeah.
Remember? Somebody brought one of
those
that
before.
One of that.
That's fun. So, yeah, bring your toys, bring your food and your snacks, and be ready to entertain.
We like to shower, shave, get dressed before we leave for the hotel. get most of that done. We get there early. We get an early check-in. We tool around. We get relaxed, settle in. I take a nap. And then we freshen up before the party, do a little sponge bathing, touch up makeup, hair. And then we get dressed.
Yeah, and, have a little music playing in the room.
That's right.
Set the mood.
We bring music with the Bluetooth speaker.
Bluetooth speaker, yeah, it's great.
We
and then
always
we
play
get dressed.
Sexy Latin Cuban music.
So if you hear Latin music coming from the room next door,
That's
you
us.
might
Come on
be
over.
next to us. So for this particular party, I wanted to do something kind of in the normal vein of what I like to wear to parties. I like to wear a kilt a lot of times. And so in this one, I decided to construct a Roman kilt skirt. I feel awkward calling it a skirt because a kilt is a kilt, but a Roman... I struggled with that. Didn't want to call it a skirt, but maybe that's what the Romans called it. I don't know. Anyway, out of drawer liner. So all of those shop drawer liners, kind of the spongy, foamy, rubbery stuff. I cut panels out of that, stitched it all together, and made something black and barely there. Mm-hmm. It was fun.
It looked like clothing. It was awesome. I cheated a little. I ordered something off of Amazon. It was all beads. It was a beaded skirt. So they were beads, but they were attached to fabric underneath. A little bit of fabric.
Sort of.
To tie it around the waist.
Yeah.
So it was a nice short skirt with my cheeks hanging out, and then
peaky cheeks.
Mm-hmm. Then I got a chain and sequin top. That was it.
Hardly covered anything.
It went attached around the neck, slid over the tops of the boobs and the nipples, and
yeah, nothing really holding it on.
Back.
It was just kind of draped there. It
was just
fabulous.
Yeah. It had like a big old necklace. And then I had to wear pasties because you can't show any nipples in the
such a disappointment.
In the dance room, in the dance hall.
Public and nipples, they just...
Right. Then you peel them off when you go to the boom boom room.
Peely nipples.
So my top half of my body was practically naked. My back was bare, and I had this sequiny chain necklace thing draped over my boobs. It was awesome.
And this was probably the least amount of clothing you've ever worn out in public. Mm-hmm. I mean, even your swimsuits typically cover a little bit more than this. You got pretty daring.
I did.
And it was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciated it. Everybody else in the room appreciated it. It was it was fabulous. Got lots of great comments.
Yeah.
We also like to bring what we call a go bag. Now, we've got the go bag, which has got all of this stuff, the pads, the lube, and all that. But we also have a little bag, what we like to call the down and dirty go bag, which just has condoms, a small bottle of lube, some chapstick.
Yep, I need it. I love it.
Gotta have chapstick. A breath spray or breath mints.
Right.
And a hair tie a lot of times.
Oh, yes. Always the hair tie for, getting the hair out of the way when you're giving a blowjob. Sole purpose. That's the sole purpose of a hair tie.
It's nice.
To get the hair out of the way for a blowjob.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. So, hotel rooms. I would strongly recommend getting a hotel room if you can. Allures will reserve a block of rooms and usually a wing, especially for the larger events. So you get to stay next to a whole bunch of swingers. Literally the whole floor. I mean, it's a block. It is a lot of rooms.
Yeah.
And so you will hear people going up and down the hall. I would recommend you prop your door open a little bit so you can hear people. We like to peek out, say hello. We tend to get to know our neighbors. People are super friendly. They're there to meet everybody else. So even though you think that you're interrupting, you're not.
No. Everybody wants to see everybody.
Everybody wants to see everybody. Everyone wants to get to know everybody. Some people go as far as to put a little sign on the door. Hey, knock, come on in. So I would highly recommend getting a room. It's super fun. It kicks off the party before the party. And
it has the advantage that you can stay up a little bit later. You can dance a little bit later. You can kind of have your fun and not have to worry about, I really got to get home. We've got that drive.
Yep.
It really cuts into your fun from kind of like a psychological standpoint. When you don't have to worry about any of that stuff.
Exactly.
You can relax more.
Mm-hmm. It's like a little local staycation.
Exactly.
Yep.
It's fun.
Is fun.
We've enjoyed it, and we've, I think, benefited a lot.
Oh, yeah.
From having a room in the hotel as all of the other like-minded people.
All right, let's get to some of the better stuff now that people have heard about all of our grooming and whatnot.
All right.
The dance. Boo boo. Allures does an amazing job at making the dance and the boom boom room, which we're going to talk about next, fabulous. The ambience, the music, the lights. So you walk in, you may have candles on every table. There's always some sort of decoration on every table. Chocolates, mirrors, flower arrangement. It changes every time. Candles, like I said. You get fog lights on the dance floor. You get the sensual mood lighting.
Yes.
Curtains that line all the walls, so it creates this scene.
Right.
I don't know how else to describe it. It doesn't look like a hotel anymore.
Yeah. It looks like a destination. You've walked into this other place.
Absolutely. What else? They've got a stripper pole. They have a go-go dance platform.
Yeah.
And they always have a DJ. DJ Black Ice is always playing. He plays old school, R&B, hip hop, Latin, pop, EDM, and some classic rock.
It's a lot of fun.
It's fun. He'll take your requests. Just have one. That's all he asks.
That's right.
Don't go up to him and say, hey, can you play that song? It's called, yeah, sure. If you give me the name, I'll play it.
Exactly.
And he's really good at that.
Now, some of the other things that are set up in the room are some VIP tables and cabanas.
Yes.
Now, we like to give this advice out. The VIP areas are basically they're enticements for people to have a place to go back to that they know is there. So they can set their stuff down and they can go back and they can sit down. The rest of the tables are open for everybody. But don't feel like this is some exclusive area.
Yeah.
Everybody's welcome to introduce themselves to the people who have the VIP tables, and they may invite you to stay. Mm-hmm. So we encourage you to go up and, like I said, talk to them, get to know them, make some new friends, and you may be able to sit in their seating area with them.
Yeah, they're not like your normal club where it literally stands for I'm a very important person. It's roped off. Do not cross this line because I'm a status symbol because I spent so much money to be in this special area. No. People buy these to have you come by. It's like the Venus flytrap.
Exactly.
They suck you in. And they're gorgeous. You get your own couch. You get
There's a little table there.
Little
you set
extras.
your cocktail down.
Mm-hmm. Maybe you get some fun necklaces or other little perks.
And it's decorated and it's right next to the dance floor. So you can sit there and people watch.
Oh, yeah.
Which is usually amazing. You get to see all kinds of stuff.
Oh, yeah. Some fun stuff goes on. Allures always provides on-premise play and does a fantastic job at creating ambiance and safety. The Boom Boom Room will have soft red lighting and 2 areas that you can attend. There is a voyeur area, which has about 30 chairs that you can sit and watch. So you can watch and play in this area. And then there is an area that's just play. There's no chairs set up. The watching area, the voyeur area, has about 8 beds, I think. Is that about right?
It's about that.
Depends on the event. If for Halloween and New Year's, the playroom tends to get a little bigger because
they use a larger room, larger area in the hotel, and they can spread out a little bit more and have more space.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes they bring in the fancy S-curve.
Yeah, they
furniture.
moved that into the other room, which we'll talk about next.
Oh, that's right. That was over there. So you have options. If you're getting comfortable with the lifestyle, or you are just a voyeur, or you want to ease into the evening, go sit, watch. There's always couples in there that are having a good time. And if you want to get down to it, go to the other. Well, actually, you can go on either side.
That's right. It's just whether you like to have an audience or you like to play where maybe people aren't just sitting there and watching you.
Right. You'll have an audience either way, but you'll have more of an audience.
You'll have a naked audience in one room.
Yes.
And you'll have a clothed audience in the other room.
Yes.
So it's kind of up to your own personal preference. Now, we've heard comments from veteran swingers that swinging is a participant sport, not a spectator sport.
Right.
While I agree, and I encourage everybody to participate, it's sometimes hard to get past that first time or to get comfortable with playing in front of other people.
Right.
And it's interesting to watch how people progress. And I think it's nice to have this kind of voyeur room so that people can kind of get a taste of it, a sampling of it, without feeling pressured to actually perform or play. I think it would actually decrease the number of people who participate because they'd be so scared they just wouldn't go in there and they wouldn't get that exposure and they wouldn't see how exciting it is and how sexy it is to watch other people have sex right there.
Right.
It's kind of like jumping straight into the deep end of the pool when you're learning how to swim. Well,
you want to see what it's like.
You can sample without having to
sample.
Boom.
And each room always has a stack of fresh sheets and towels. So when you're done playing, either you change them or the staff will change them, depending on how it's set up. Staff is really great at making sure that happens.
Right.
So if the couple leaves and they don't change, staff will step in and do that. So you have some supplies there, which is really nice. You always want to bring your own lube and condoms. And yeah.
I think they do provide condoms sometimes, but lube is pretty specific to your own preference, as we will discuss.
Oh, yes.
In a later episode.
I have done about 80 hours of research on lube. I'm not kidding.
It's going to be a great episode.
Oh, yeah.
Sneak preview.
Okay.
The other room that we like to go and be voyeurs in because we're a little timid in this area and we've experimented a little bit, but it's not exactly our cup of tea, but we do really enjoy the spectacle of it, and that's the S&M room. We like watching couples play in this way, and we've got a great story we're going to tell you. But same mood lighting. There's a viewing area. It's a little bit smaller room because less people participate in this particular sport. Soft curtains. They have a St. Andrew's cross, and it's a double-sided St. Andrew's cross, so the two people who are restrained can face each other, and they can look into each other's eyes,
Oh, yeah.
which is very sexy.
Ooh, that would be hot.
That would be, it is hot, but it'd be hot to be up there, too.
I could think of
Now
a
she's
couple,
reconsidering this whole room.
if you used a soft, gentle flogging device, since you know I don't like to be bruised or welted.
Just wail the crap out of that butt.
No. I could be facing the other couple that I have in mind, while her partner is, oh God, that would be.
Yeah, she might be present enough to be aware. Anyway.
Okay.
We're too many spoilers.
Oh, I'm getting into a
All right.
fantasy of mine.
In addition to the St. Andrew's cross, there's a table arrayed with a whole bunch of flogging devices,
Yep.
Various paddles.
So they provide, and then you can also bring your own.
Absolutely. You can bring any of your toys. They also brought a new toy this time, which we've been referring to as the trampoline dildo. All right, so you have to go on Amazon. You have to look this thing up, but it looks kind of like a mini hammock. It's got these two elastic straps, and there's basically a dildo pointing up. And so you sit down on the elastic straps, and you can bounce up
Boing,
and down.
boing, boing.
It was interesting. No one used it. You were really tempted to try it out.
I was. I wanted to, but
I want to see this.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it at Halloween.
That's right. We'll try it out. Maybe we'll give you a review of the trampoline dildo. It probably has a name. I've seen like 3 or 4 different versions of it, but it
And a
looked
man
interesting.
or a woman can lay down on the floor, face up, and scooch under there and watch.
Right.
It's that tall, so.
It's tall, but if you'd have to pull the dildo out in order to put the face in.
Oh.
So we haven't figured out the logistics because the elastic was really new and it didn't look like it had as much give as you would need to like get really low on this thing.
We really need to test this, and you need to get under there.
All right. We will try that out. There's also a sex swing, which is in a self-contained stand, which is pretty cool. And there's a spanking bench, which looks a lot like a sawhorse. We tried to look up the technical name for it, and the closest we could come up with is a spanking bench. But it's padded on the top. There's rest on either side for your knees, and you can get behind your partner, in front of your partner, or beside your partner, and you can have a lot of fun on the bench.
It's a sexnick bench.
Yeah.
Like, it kind of looks like a picnic bench with pads.
Yeah.
In
Very
small
narrow.
form for a body that you have sex on.
Yeah.
A sexnick bench.
We thought it kind of looked
Sex
like a sex horse, kind of like a rocking horse.
Yes.
But it didn't rock.
No.
Anyway. Fun toys in the S&M room.
Oh, yeah.
It's a great room to go and watch and kind of observe, and maybe if you're interested in that, to kind of
participate,
dip your toe in or observe and see what it's all about.
And what's also great too is the people that are more experienced with S&M are all very open to sharing their knowledge and their time to give you a pleasurable experience if you want to do that. There's a very specific technique and to using the toy and to reading the person's body. So it's fun. I encourage you to check it out. Safety, security, and privacy. This is really important. I know a lot of people worry about the security, the privacy, and safety at these events. And Allures does a really good job at making sure there's no photography or video. If they find somebody that is whipping out their phone and taking photos, they're on them. Oh yeah, they're asked to leave, or I don't know what happens, but that's stopped immediately. We've never seen that happen. Guests' information, of course, is always private and never shared with any other guests. There's security at the top of every stair, entrance, room, door, even the boom boom room. So if something is off or goes awry, they're there for you, and typically you don't see it before it happens. They take care of it, and it's so great. It's so seamless. Their presence is there, but it's not offensive.
Right.
And I've heard of things that have happened. Maybe someone got a little belligerent after the party because we're friends with some people that work there, and we're like, "What? We had no idea." It just
they're on top.
They're on it. They really want you to have an amazing, great experience, and are there to preserve that experience for everybody.
And very professional.
Absolutely.
These folks are great. They're quiet. They're very personal. They're very nice. We've had some conversations with security people before, and it's great. You don't feel like you're being watched over, but you know that there's somebody there, which is great. One note about the photography, which I wanted to mention, when you first come into the entrance of the event, there's some photo opportunities. So you can take pictures, but you have to do it out in the public area. Right. So out on the dance floor or whatnot, you can't do it. And
when you get your drinks outside of the dance floor,
exactly,
you buy them at the bar, you can take photos. That's true. I forgot about that.
But keep in mind, taking pictures of other people during that time, you got to get their permission. And we're all about consent, even with social media and all of that. And some people are very conscious about that. So
they have
be respectful.
Their job requires them to be very, as you know,
if you're that person, we're talking to you.
Yeah, we're not trying to broadcast your face everywhere, because you need to keep this separate. Safety. There's no tolerance for drugs or prostitution or harassment of guests. The playroom will allow single males in them, but they must be escorted by a single female or another couple.
Right. And
in that same playroom, single males must stay with an escort at all times.
So no jerky lurkers.
Right.
Which is interesting, because we just went to a party last night, and there was a little bit of that, and it was kind of uncomfortable having somebody there, and you felt like they were always ready to pounce, and you just don't have that at the Allures events, because they just don't tolerate it. No. It's an awkward experience, and a lot of people are doing this for the first time or going to their first event, and to have an experience like that, where you've got some guy with his cock in his hands basically jerking off to you as live porn, it's kind of creepy. Yeah. And
I know some people like it.
Some people like it, yeah.
But I would say maybe most people don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, in the right
it's also
circumstances,
distracting.
It's good.
It distracts from the experience that you're trying to have with another couple, or you're trying to have with your partner. And it's,
Well, and honestly, if you want the guy there, then invite him in.
Sure. Yeah.
So invitations are welcome.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay.
All right.
Fun and sexy things that we did and saw.
So now we're going to get into the tell portion of this, where we talk about some of the great stuff we saw. Juicy, yummy things. So I think just like the glow party that we went to, we ended up stepping out on the balcony. We got the garden side instead of the parking lot side of the event. So we've got a little bit of scenery. You can kind of see the pool, which is nice.
Which was a tip from another couple that said,
always get the garden side.
Always get the garden side. That's where all the action is. Okay.
And lo and behold, we go out on our balcony, as we always do, and our neighbor is the same neighbor that we had at the glow party.
Oh my God, it was amazing.
Are the odds? Great guy, had a number of conversations with him, really like him, great personality, funny as hell, and very, very informative.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, we hung out on the balcony for a little bit and had a chit-chat with our friend.
Yeah.
And one of the other tips that you'd mentioned was leaving your door ajar with a note on the outside. And this is true on the cruise ships or almost any event, including playrooms. Like if you want somebody to come in and play, you leave the door open. Well, you can do the same thing with your hotel room. Leave the door propped or blocked open, and it's an open invitation to come on in, introduce yourself, say hi, hug and kiss your neighbor, and see what's going on.
Yeah, the last year we were getting ready for an event. I think it was Halloween, and we heard a bunch of noise in the hallway, and I wanted to see what people were doing. I wanted to see their costumes. People had fabulous costumes. And so I was, like I said, getting ready. So I wasn't completely dressed yet, and I was topless. And I opened the door, and I walked out there. I'm like, hi, neighbor.
And of course, they immediately said, nice tits. No one's ever not going to greet you at a swinger event if you come out topless. It's just an open, loving way of greeting someone.
Oh yeah, it was so fun. Oh, that was a lot of fun.
And we're always listening to the voices as people walk by to try and figure out, okay, do we know that voice? Where are they going? You'll hear the people who are either drunk before the party even starts, which is
it's sad. We're like, oh nope, they're not going to make it.
It's
nope.
like, oh yeah, they're
already
they're down.
They're down.
We got to swing her down. Swing her down.
Oh yeah.
Bring out the Advil.
This party, they had, I believe, the whole wing reserved.
Yeah, it seemed like it. Although there was an odd thing that we haven't seen. There was a family down the hall from us, which is a little weird. Usually, you don't have kids on the wing, and I'm not sure what the hotel did that night.
Right.
We didn't see them again, but we did hear the kids every once in a while. So anyway, keep that in mind. Obviously,
it's unusual, but
be respectful or aware if you see something like that.
Right.
But anyway,
we saw a lot of new people.
Oh my God,
time.
So many new people.
Yes,
and we've been going to the last 3 or 4 events, so we would have seen, quote, the new batch over the last few months. October for Halloween, New Year's, the glow party in the spring, and so this was midsummer. So something in the last 6 months, we probably run into people.
Yeah,
but no, these were all relatively new people, and a lot of our usual suspects were not there. Some, but yeah, we were kind of blown away at how many new faces that we saw, which was
it's great. It's exciting. Great. I love that people are experiencing and trying something new, expanding their horizon.
Exactly. So we, of course, in our usual fashion, went around and introduced ourselves to as many people as we could, but especially people who we knew, but also anyone we thought was interesting. One of the interesting couples that we saw was the green costume couple. They had kind of an Irish theme going on. She had a little green merkin going on. For those that aren't familiar with medieval history and the Black Plague, a merkin refers to a toupee for the nether regions.
Oh, that's right.
So she had actually used that term, and they were joking about their green merkins. But yeah, it was cute.
Hilarious.
She had little green pubic hair, which was hilarious.
I didn't know that was called a merkin.
Yeah.
That was hilarious. That was awesome.
Their costumes were super I mean, just great. I mean,
I think they won the costume
they
contest.
did win a costume contest. They actually won a getaway to Sea Mountain down in Southern California, which was great because this was their first event.
Oh, yeah.
They were brand new.
Nice.
It was a good conversation that we'd had with them. We got a little bit of an insight into who they were. We got to watch them play later in the playroom.
Oh, yeah.
That was hot.
That was so
Very sexy couple.
Oh
and
my
we
God.
hope to run into them again.
Yeah, they like to be watched.
They liked, they were having a good time, and her excuse was she kind of grew up in theater, and so being naked around other people was not that big a deal. But
I was like, what?
She pulled it off very well.
Wait,
and
what? How does theater make you comfortable with being naked?
It's all the costume changes behind
Must
stage.
be.
But
Must be.
yeah, they were sexy. Very hot
Yeah.
couple. Like I said, hope we run into them again.
I know.
It'd be great to see them again.
Oh my goodness. Then there's this other costume. This man had a cornucopia strapped over his cock, and then around his neck was a woven wicker wreath. That's it.
That was his whole costume.
It was fabulous. I was laughing so hard. And then when we were at one of the VIP areas chatting some people up, we saw him and his lady friend on the dance floor, or wife, whoever she was. And no.
They were dancing.
Okay, they were dancing. Then a single woman came up, and she's like...
They pulled them in and said, no, try this.
She's like, hey, come here. And she takes the wreath off of his head. She walks back about 5 feet and ring tosses it onto his
Oh my God.
cornucopia.
They brought games. It was fabulous. When we first saw them, we were like, okay, that's novel. It's interesting, but we didn't get it. And then when they did the ring toss, we were like, oh, holy crap, that's brilliant.
Absolutely.
Brilliant.
Absolutely. I lost it. I was laughing so hard.
We were laughing. Everybody around us were just the same thing we were saying.
Oh, God.
That's so smart.
That's so creative.
So creative.
Why didn't I
And
think of that?
come play with my cock. No, really. You can toss a ring right here onto my horn of plenty.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We called it the Horn of Plenty. Oh, God.
So
awesome.
funny. And they were a cute couple. Their costumes were great. They're, very simple, but brilliant.
Absolutely. It was so great. Oh, yeah.
So we wandered around for a little bit, had some conversations, introduced ourselves, and then, of course, the time comes in the evening where we decide that it's frisky time. We decide where can we find some fun. So we're wandering from room to room. We decide to hit the S&M room to watch and see what naughty exploits people were getting into, and took our seats, watched. There was a couple on one side of the St. Andrew's Cross.
Onto the left side.
Yeah. This was a couple who'd they had a construction theme, and so the guys were wearing tool belts and hard hats, and they'd swapped partners, and one of the partners, I guess, was a more experienced flogger.
Right.
And he'd had one of the wives strapped up and was flicking her buttocks with glee. She was very happy about the whole thing and was having a good time. And it was very sexy, but
it was a little more light.
A little timid, not aggressive, but playful and fun. Right. So very
much
light
of what I would
session.
Like. Yes.
Yeah. The second couple wanders into the room and decides to take the other side of the St. Andrew's Cross. Now, this couple brought their own equipment.
Oh, yeah.
She had her own wrist restraints, and, I mean, they were pros. Like, they had all the gear that they needed to do what they needed to do.
Absolutely.
Had his own flogger, although I think at this particular party, and And I'm saying that because we ran into them again last night, and they had brought their own flogger. But I think at this particular party, he was sampling the floggers that were there, but she did have her own wrist restraints. Anyway,
Yes.
I digress. He very lovingly straps her to the cross, some kisses and some words of encouragement, and then he starts working.
Oh, yeah.
And he starts with the breasts and just, I mean,
Flails
this
them.
was intense. It was loud.
Oh, yeah.
He was putting in some work to keep her on the edge the whole time. It progressed. The impact grew. He starts exploring other parts. He's flogging the insides of her thighs.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking like full overhead back flip.
Wow.
Straight up.
Oh, yeah.
And we were all just breathless watching what was happening and her reactions.
And I have goosebumps right now. And it may seem harsh to hear. And I want to explain this. When I first saw flogging, I was not repulsed, but I was scared. I didn't understand it. It was shocking. And I thought, oh no, she's hurting. But then the more I watch it, and I watch especially an experienced couple do this, it is a very delicate dance with pain.
Right.
And the dance that they do with that, he is amazing. He is very adept at reading her, and he's very skilled at how he wields the pain and knows when to push and knows when to stop. And it was amazing and passionate. And so he would stop periodically when he saw her on the edge, and then he'd come up to her and he'd caress and he'd kiss and they'd coo and she'd giggle, and then he'd step back again and then he'd start over.
Right.
And it was like this high and low and this high and low. It was like an orgasm.
Yeah. And
it was amazing.
And it's this, like you said, it's this dance where it's almost like music, where it builds up to like a crescendo, but before it finishes, it comes back down and then up and down.
Ugh.
It was great.
It was so sexy. It was so passionate and we realize this isn't everybody's cup of tea. It's not our cup of tea in terms of participating. Oh no, I don't like to be
but
in pain.
you can kind of appreciate how different people derive pleasure.
Yeah.
And it's fascinating. I have a very high tolerance for pain. I have a lot of tattoos, and it's just something that I've grown accustomed to, and I'm not sure how I developed it. I have some theories, but I can appreciate how pain is a very wide scale. I mean, everybody's gone into the doctor at some point, and they just describe your pain on a level of 1 to 10, 10 being the most excruciating.
Right.
Anyway, different people have a different sense of what's painful, and I think a lot of people really enjoy that intense sensation that. It's almost pleasurable. It is pleasurable for them to have this heightened sensory experience. It's fascinating to watch. We love watching it, especially when there's this kind of a dynamic going on.
Oh, yeah.
It's hot watching two people have sex, even if it's a type of sex that you don't necessarily want to participate in yourself.
Yeah. That's what it was.
It's the sights, the sounds, the reactions, and she got to the point at the end of it, she was like, I'm done with the foreplay, let's go fuck.
Oh, yep. And they did.
And they did. They like, clip, off she went, and I'm sure that they were having just as much fun in the other room. without the toys that they were showing us. Very sexy couple. We've run into them again. We'll probably run into them some more.
At the end of the night, we ended up playing with each other, but we didn't find a play partner this time, which is fine. We still had a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was mostly a night of social interaction and meeting and greeting people. And,
yes.
We did. We had a great time dancing and
observing. That was a whole new experience. I'd never seen that.
Yeah. We also observed something else in that room, which I forgot to mention, and that was the bench. So that sawhorse thing that we were talking about before, there was actually a couple utilizing it. Sexy little thing. It was just two of them doing their own thing. He had her from behind, and it looked and sounded great from where we were sitting. And we saw an interaction that was fascinating, and it was a little comforting because we've had lots of single male experience, which is not so great. But a single male from the audience came up to them very respectfully, asked, if he could participate with them, and they agreed, and there was some gentle caressing. He talked to her and engaged her as a person, and it was like gentle caresses on the arm, conversation with her. He like brushed her hair back from her face. It was very intimate and non-threatening sexual foreplay.
Yes.
And it was great. And eventually he had his pants down and he was getting a blowjob, and then they switched places. So, I mean, it turned into full-blown sex, but it was that initial interaction that was nice to see. It was very reassuring that those kinds of things can happen, and that there are some respectful people, single males.
Yeah.
And it was nice to see. It was refreshing to see an interaction like that. And the couple seemed to be enjoying the extra attention. I think she really enjoyed the extra attention. She was making all of those kinds of noises. Very sexy to watch.
Yes. Super sexy.
And I want to acknowledge again your outfit, because this was the most naked you've ever been wandering around, and you didn't even hesitate. Like, you had this planned. This was the outfit you were going to wear. You had two different tops that were just different colors but the same style. And it was, do I wear the black one or the silver one?
Right.
And we went through all of that, but never was there a question of, I think this shows off too much. I'm gonna cover up more.
Right.
And
tank this whole thing.
That's right.
Which happens. I mean,
it has happened before.
Sometimes, ladies, what you plan on wearing that morning is not how you feel that night.
I did the same thing last night, changed my outfit twice, which is an unusual occurrence. So I totally empathize with that. But, man, you just went all out with that outfit in terms of, and I mean all out, like everything was out. And it was great. And I'm appreciating that you're having the confidence to strut your stuff, because I think you've finally figured out that you're one of the hottest women walking around in the place, and everybody knows it. And it's nice to see that you know it too now.
Thank you.
Or at least you're starting to. So sexy.
Yes.
Lots of fun, some prizes given away, lots of new people.
Yes.
So much fun.
It was a very good time. So we hope we nailed down some details for you, and what you can expect in an event like this. It's always fun. It's erotic and a safe environment for you to observe and to express yourself to any level of comfort you choose. So please check them out. Please check out allureslifestyle.com. Come to some of their events. They're great, fun places to express your sexual freedom.
And New Year's and Halloween are coming up, so check out those parties. And if you don't make Halloween this year, or this doesn't come out by the time Halloween comes around, you can check out Halloween next year.
Absolutely.
This is Ed.
And this is Phoebe.
Saying thanks for listening to Swinger University, where we give you more than just the tip.
Before you turn off our podcast to take care of all the vanilla things pulling you away, please reach out and give us a review. I am the first to admit that it is much easier to give a 5-star rating, which we appreciate. But if you could take 43 seconds to type a review, we would love it. If you want to share a personal story, ask us questions, or share your comments, please contact us at swingeruniversity@gmail.com or tweet us at swingerupodcast.